To discuss the future.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Ms. Bridgewater, when is the SAP reset date?
May the 9th.
May 9th. Thank you. And I don't see the jail on as of yet, so we'll get started as soon as they get with us.
Okay. There they are.
Green.
Take your head off. Take your head off.
Jackson.
Who we starting with?
I don't know yet, Mr. Howard. As soon as the jail is ready, I guess they'll let us know.
Apologize for the wait. We have
That's-
this one, Mr. Bond.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Bond. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 002525D with theft of service. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2017 battery, simple battery dismissed.
That's what yours when I was at the seat.
Yes, Ms. Falk. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing. Thank you.
State's recommendation on this, Your Honor, is a $3,000 signature bond to the jail. Stay away from the Backstage nightclub at 2505 Godby Road, College Park. No alcohol, drugs, and weapons. In short, this incident happened on the 23rd. Defendant was at the nightclub, had a bill of $336.36 for food and drink that he refused to pay, and the officer asked him if he could and was willing to pay, and the defendant said no, and at that time he was arrested. And this was witnessed by Curtis Johnson, the security guard. That is all.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wells. Is this your case?
Good afternoon. Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Any objection to any of that?
No objection, but just for the record, I would like to state that my client was part of a larger party. He was invited by a friend of a friend, and then was stiffed with the bill, and did offer to pay his portion of the bill. So this was seemingly a misunderstanding, but we have no objection to the signature bond. We have no objection to him not returning to that establishment.
Okay. So $3,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away from backstage, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapon. Good luck to you, Mr. Bond.
Can you repeat that, Your Honor?
Yes, it's a $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Appreciate you. We have
Okay.
position number 4, Mr. Clark.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Clark. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. You've been charged in case 23 CR 002526F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. 2015 failure to appear. Shoplifting first offender. 2014 misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Trespass. Shoplifting conviction. That's it.
Okay, Mrs. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened April 24th of 2023 at 2891 Springdale Road, apartment 1206. It happened at 6:30 p.m. last night, so less than 24 hours has passed since this incident. Officers spoke with Autumn Forrest, who stated she had had an altercation with the defendant and her live-in boyfriend. They were arguing. She attempted to leave, and the defendant grabbed her right arm and told her she wasn't going anywhere. When she tried to yank away, the defendant gave her a bear hug and sat down, not allowing her to leave. And at some point, the defendant finally left. Ms. Forrest had a visible scratch on the inside of her right arm. We are showing that although there has been no previous incidents of violence, he does have an FTA from 2015. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond. Stay away from 2891 Springdale Road, apartment 1206, since there really hasn't been a cooling off period here. 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further contact with Autumn Forrest. We would like to sound for Ms. Forrest at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Forrest, with this, Ms. Forrest, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand and I'll have to swear you in, okay? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to tell the court that I'm not fearful of LaShawn Clark. It's just an incident that happened. I needed the police to come to de-escalate the situation. I wanted to either have them remove him or remove me from the situation for that day or night. But with the visible scratch that they seen, they did arrest him. But he is a good person, take care of the 3 kids that we do have together, helps pay his bill and go to work every morning.
Has this happened before?
No, sir.
Are you afraid of him?
No, sir.
Do you both live at the Springdale Road address?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, and you did find it necessary to call the police to de-escalate the matter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Forrest. Any questions, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Hi, Ms. Forrest. I just have one question, if I may. The scratch that you received on your arm, was that from the defendant trying to hold you back from leaving the house?
Probably so. He does have long nails, so he never cuts his nails, but it's very tiny. The officer did take a picture of it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Forrest. That's all the questions the state has, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Wills?
Thank you, Judge. My client is 29 years old. As it was stated, his last arrest was 2015. He does have 3 children, a 5-year-old, 2-year-old, and a 2-month-old. He is employed by Church's Chicken as a cook, where he has been employed there for the past 5 years. He states that it was a verbal disagreement that escalated. He does not have a violent history. As Ms. Forrest has stated, she is not in fear of him. It also states that she works at night and Mr. Clark watches the children while she works the night shift. So for those reasons, I would ask for a $2,000 signature bond and no further violent contact.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Forrest, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Clark and Ms. Forrest.
Thank you.
Hey, Your Honor, I'm just inquiring if we did reach a French interpreter for Mr. Todd.
Let me ask, do we have a French interpreter this afternoon?
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, good
I'm-
afternoon.
So
Yes, ma'am,
I'm
good
going
afternoon.
to go log in courtroom 3 with Mr.
Okay.
Scott.
Okay, and who's representing him?
Yeah, that would be me, Your Honor, Ms. Hoag.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hope. So do you need to speak with him before we have a hearing this afternoon?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we'll put you into a breakout room with your client and the French interpreter as soon as they get us ready, okay?
Okay.
So who do we have now?
Okay. We have position number 3, Mr. Christopher.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Christopher. I'm Judge Eric Morrow, and it's Lochi Christopher? Lockie Christopher. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? I see you saying yes, even though you're muted there in courtroom 2. You have been charged in case 23 CR 002541B with reckless conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, this wasn't on my pull sheet.
Okay, is this your case, Ms. Falk? Are you presenting?
My signal seems a little off, so I apologize if I lose you at any point.
Okay, do you have the history, Ms. Falk?
I do. She
Okay.
currently has no history. This is her first arrest.
Okay,
This happened on April 20th, 2023 at 120 Neil Reed Drive, Roswell, Georgia. The officers were dispatched there for a welfare check on a 15-year-old nonverbal developmentally disabled male, Dominique Karuba. The officers unlocked, the defendant, Mr. Karuba, unlocked the doors for the officers, but was unable to communicate with them. To no avail, left a voicemail for her, even had 911 try to contact her, but they were unable to reach her. During this time, Mr. Karuba, the juvenile, walked outside, began walking around the front of the neighborhood, down in the middle of the road several times, had to be guided back into the residence by the officers. They were able to finally locate the defendant. She claimed she was only going to be out for about an hour and a half with a friend, and she was unsure how he would be able to unlock the door. However, when they spoke to neighbors, the neighbors told the officers this wasn't the first time Mr. Karuba had been left at the home alone and has wandered outside several times before, and in fact, allowed the officers in, showing that he in fact does know how to unlock a door. The bond currently set is $3,500. We do have some concerns about the care of Mr. Karuba due to this incident. However, we also are concerned about, just his welfare in general, being that he is 15 years of age. We are agreeable to a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. I do not know if DFAX was called or is involved. It's according to Mr. Patrick, they did come out and close the case and ordered personal supervision. So I would say that comply with any orders of DFAX, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we are requesting a parenting class. That is all.
Mr. Patrick, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. That is correct, Judge. We have no objection to the $5,000 signature bond and the compliance with DFAX. Your Honor, essentially, if the 15-year-old Christopher here had been verbal, don't think this would have ever gotten this far. He has a communication device. He has a cell phone. Miss Christopher is, I could go down a litany of 2 pages worth of classes that she has taken. She, ultimately, the goal here for Mr. Karuba, Judge, is for him to transition to a long-term, somewhat independent care facility when he graduates from high school. Part of that is that he be required that he have some independent living skills. On the advice of therapists, the Miss Christopher would leave him for periods and would increase the number of locks on the doors, increase the supervision, the remote supervision. Here, this incident, there was a chain lock on the top of the door. did not believe he was able to get through it. This is all in an effort, Judge, to keep Christopher out of of what would essentially be a nursing home when his mother, Miss Christopher, is no longer with us or able to physically care for him. Again, this was all directed by a therapist. We certainly don't have an objection to a parenting class in this case. And in fact, I was going to recommend that she do one anyway. My intent was to speak with the solicitor and see if any one of the litany things, such as her participation in the Focus, which is the Focus conferences for parents and caregivers of special needs individuals, where she's had training through that, the unique individuals, several psychologists, occupational therapists. We don't have a problem providing that kind of proof, Judge. This is not an absent parent. This is a parent who went to buy a pair of pants while down at the Alive After 5 street vendors in an effort to give some little bit of life skills growth that's being taught to him in school, and a little bit of a chance to wean him into a care facility eventually, when he is at a point where Miss Christopher's reached an age or health where she can't care for him. So we do ask that the court enforce the $5,000 signature order. We have no issue in complying with DFACS at this time, and we ask that be the order of the court.
And $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, comply with any defects orders, a parenting class, which was agreed upon, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, good luck to you, Ms. Christopher. It appears that, is it courtroom 3? Is that the gentleman who needs the French interpreter? Is anyone in courtroom 3 for me?
And Judge, I hate to interrupt, but that completes my business. May I be dismissed?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Mr. Patrick. Good to see you.
You too, Judge.
Ms. Hogue, is that your client?
Yes, the person who needs a French interpreter is my client. The note I got from Officer Norris is that he's in courtroom 3. He needs access to get to
Well,
the
he's here
Zoom
now.
chat.
He's here.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
here.
right here.
So he's in courtroom 3. So if we can put the French interpreter, Ms. Hogue, in courtroom 3 into a breakout room, please.
Got it, Judge.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Ms. Grace. While we're doing that, can we go back to courtroom 2? You'll have to unmute yourself, courtroom 2, for us to hear you.
Yeah, I know we have position number 2, Ms. Campbell.
Okay. And who's representing Ms. Campbell? Ms. Wills?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Campbell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 002540J with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
5th arrest. Open case out of Clayton County, simple assault, giving false name, pointing, aiming gun at another. Got a 2019 ag assault, suspended sentence, and a 2019 shoplifting. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Falk?
And Your Honor, on that 2022 Clayton County case, we looked into that. She was convicted in June of 2022 on the charge of simple assault and given 12 months probation. That aggravated assault, it appears that she is still on probation for that, as she was given 5 years probation in September of 2019 for the aggravated assault. The incident that happened here happened on April 22nd at 1377 Virginia Avenue, room 329. That's the Motel 6. The defendant stated she asked Devontae Davis, who's her boyfriend, to leave since the room was registered to her. The two of them do live together. Mr. Davis refused to leave. She began throwing his property out into the hallway. He tried to stop her and she attacked him, biting him and scratching him. Officers were able to see a nick near the right eye of Mr. Davis, as well as scratch marks on his neck. We have been able to talk to Mr. Davis. He stated that they are in a relationship. They do live together, although currently they do not share a permanent address and they have no children. He did state that he is not in fear of her. However, our concern here is she has 2 prior violent convictions within the last 5 years. One for that aggravated assault where she's still on probation, and then a 2022 simple assault where she was placed on probation as well. Although those were different victims, we still have concerns for a risk of reoffense, as well as a pattern here of violence. For that reason, the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond, that there be no further contact with Devontae Davis, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I am going to check sound for Mr. Devontae Davis to see if he is present at this time. And I do see him there on the Zoom. So, Your Honor, if you want to inquire as to whether Mr. Davis would like to give a statement at this time, thank you.
Mr. Davis, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You do not have to, but if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down, Mr. Davis. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to say that it was just a misunderstanding between me and her. We are both on good terms. Ever since she got locked up, I've been talking to her. It was really just both a misunderstanding, and we just needed some time apart that day. But yeah, everything is good between me and her. I don't fear nothing between me and her.
Has this happened before?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, and do you all live together at the present time?
Yes, we're at the hotel together.
Okay. This Motel 6 or someplace else?
Motel 6.
All right. And do you have anything, any questions, Ms. Falk?
Yes, they asked me earlier if I wanted contact with her or not, and I told them yes, I want to contact with her.
Okay. Ms. Falk?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Wells.
Thank you, Judge. My client is 22 years old. She is currently working with PAD at this time. She's employed by Shingle Saver as a brand specialist, and she's been working there for the past 2 months. She denies the allegations as alleged and states that she did not hit Mr. Davis and that they just had a verbal altercation. I also spoke with Mr. Davis, who stated basically what he said on the record, that he would like to continue contact with Ms. Campbell, and they do live together. So I would ask for a signature bond in this case. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for a $750 surety bond and no further violent contact. Thank you.
Because of her history, Ms. Wells, I'm reticent to give a signature bond. I will, although, give a $750 good bond per the request. No further violent contact with Mr. Davis. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Campbell. You also, Mr. Davis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Hey.
You're out of position number 5, Ms. Davis.
Damn, I'm wondering,
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Davis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 002527J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
9th arrest. According to the bond assessment, she's on probation for battery and affray. 22 SC 182156. July of 2022, they gave her 12 months probation for that. 2018, possession of a Schedule 1 controlled substance. 2018, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, that was dismissed. 2012, simple battery conviction, shoplifting, first offender. That's it.
Okay, Ms. Falk?
Your Honor, I also wanted to point out that 2022 SC case was reduced from I believe an aggravated assault, and I can just double check that, to a battery and a fray. This incident happened April 4th of 2023 at 3901 Campbellton Road Southwest. Quintavious Cheese is the victim in this case. He stated he was assaulted by the defendant. She got upset after going through his messages and contacting people on a social messaging account, and he stated she punched and kicked him in the chest and bit him, resulting in visible bite marks to Mr. Cheese. We have had a chance to speak with Mr. Cheese, and he stated that he and the defendant are in a relationship, and I am sure you've heard this before. He stated it's all a big misunderstanding, and he never wanted the defendant arrested, and he does not want to press charges. However, again, we would urge the court to consider this in a different light, especially because she is currently on probation for a reduced charge that was reduced to battery and a fray, where she's serving 12 months probation. She also has a 2013 conviction for simple battery. So this is not her first encounter with violence, and we are concerned for a risk of reoffense here. For that reason, we are requesting a $4,000 surety bond, stay away from 3901 Campbellton Road Southwest. No further contact with Quintavious Cheese. We are asking for a domestic violence intervention program and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state.
Mr. Cheese, this afternoon? If so, this is your opportunity to address the court if you choose so to do. Doesn't appear so. Is this your case, Ms. McLeod?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My client is 33 years old. She is a mother of 4 minor children, a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 3-year-old. She is gainfully employed as a housekeeper, Your Honor, and she has 3 of the minor children live with her, and she takes care of them at the address that was mentioned. She is okay with not having any further contact with Mr. Cheese, Your Honor, as he is not the father of any of these minor children. And she alleges that he was the primary aggressor in this matter and that he actually pulled a gun on her. So she tells me that she does not plan to go back to this address except for a one-time police escort to get her belongings. She plans to move from that location, Your Honor. Now, I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor, but she alleges that he pulled a gun on her. If the court is not inclined to give her a signature bond based on her history, I would ask the court to consider giving her a low bond of not more than $1,000 good bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. Cheese, stay away from the Campbellton Road address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Davis.
Y'all, position number 9, Ms. Howard.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Howard. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Howard, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002531A with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest, 2022, theft by taking. 2022, simple assault, DV. The theft by taking is open in state court. It's 22 CR 005528E as in Edward. That's a $3,000 pretrial bond. Open case out of the cab. That's the simple assault, disorderly conduct. That's it.
All right. Mr. Young, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. The victim in this case is Kristen Hudson, who would ask the court to sign for when appropriate. This incident occurred on April 24th, 2023 at the Martyr located at 30 Alabama Street in Atlanta. The facts are that law enforcement responded to this incident. Location spoke with the victim, Ms. Hudson, who advised that the accused punched her in the face because she because she refused to give the accused money. Law enforcement were provided with a description by the victim because she doesn't know this person. And that led officers to locate the suspect. The victim was able to identify the accused as the subject who punched her. The state's recommendation in this case is a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Hudson, 1-day anger awareness, and stay away from Marla.
Okay, if Ms. Kristen Hudson is on the line with us this afternoon, this is your opportunity to address the court if you choose. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Wills?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Howard is 18 years old. She is currently pregnant. And prior to her arrest, she was employed by Panera Bread. She states that she was on her way to a doctor's appointment or on her way to the hospital. She felt threatened by the alleged victim in this case, and that this is a case of self-defense, and that the alleged victim had actually been asked by MARTA to leave the premises and property. And so she does not know the alleged victim in this case. There is no risk of reoffense as it relates to this alleged victim. I would ask for a signature bond and we are in agreement with no further contact with the alleged victim.
And it's going to be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Hudson, abide by any MARTA. If MARTA has any stayaways, abide by any active MARTA stayaways, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Howard.
Repeat about Your Honor.
It's $1,000 good.
Research. Your Honor, position number 6, Mr. Finley.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Finley. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Finley, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002528G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's his 7th arrest. 2012 sale of cocaine. I didn't see any violent arrest. That's it.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. And that 2012 conviction, I believe, was the most recent conviction that he had in his history. Ms. Finley, who is here on the line, and we will give her an opportunity to speak, she was also charged in this case. She was given a $7,500 surety bond on an aggravated assault charge against Mr. Andre Finley. As part of the condition, she was to have no further violent contact with Mr. Finley. This incident happened actually on February 23rd, and Ms. Finley was arrested as a part of this incident. Mr. Finley was not arrested until, as you can see, 2 months later. When officers arrived at 6265 Polar Fox Court in Riverdale, they saw that the defendant, Mr. Finley had severe lacerations all over his body. The defendant stated that he and Mrs. Finley were in a verbal argument, and at some point she struck him with a silver shoe with a pointed heel. Miss Finley stated that they were having a verbal argument in the bathroom, and the defendant punched her in the face, and she picked up the shoe to defend herself. Miss Finley had swollen knots on her face and behind her ear. We have had an opportunity to speak with her, and she has stated that she was ordered to have no further violent contact with this defendant. She also stated that they still live together at the incident location. So we are in a very unusual situation where they have been residing together for the last 2 months, seemingly with no additional offenses that have caused the police to go out to that location. And additionally, Miss Theta Finley has the more serious offense of aggravated assault. So for that reason, the state is agreeable to a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with Miss Theta Finley, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Miss Finley is on the line, and if Your Honor would like to sound for her and give her an opportunity to speak at this time.
First, you have a right to Remain silent. Put your hand down for a second for me, okay? I just want you to know you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you, okay? For that reason, I'm going to allow you to speak, but I want you to know that this is being live streamed on YouTube, that you do have charges against you, that anything you say can be used against you, that the state is agreeable to a signature bond for your husband. Okay, so he's going to be able to sign himself out. So with all that said, do you still want to address me this afternoon, or do you want to remain silent so that you don't get yourself in any type of jeopardy with the charge that you have?
I was told by my attorney that I should speak to say that I have no fear of Mr. Finley and that it was a situation. So other than that, I shouldn't have anything to say.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being here, Ms. Finley. And I do wish you well, and your husband also. Ms. McLeod, do you have any objection to the $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, the no further violent contact with Ms. Finley, and the no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond?
No, Your Honor, we have no objection to that.
Okay, is there anything else that you would like to tell the court?
Mr. Finley tells me that he and his wife have been living together since the incident date, and he has no fear of her either, Your Honor, so.
Okay, so so it'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you. Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, same to you.
Y'all have this number 7, Mr. Freeman.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Freeman. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Okay, you're up. Was that a yes?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Freeman. You've been charged in case 23 CR 002530G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. Last arrest was 2021. Well, 2021 battery DV, crude in the third, 3 counts. First offender. That's 22 SC 185282. Ag assault on probation for that. 2021 failure to appear. 2015 trespass conviction. That's it.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. We're showing he is currently on probation for both of those 2022 cases. They're both in Fulton County, and it appears he is on probation on both. And I say that to potentially explain why the bond was set the way it was on this case. This incident happened April 23rd of 2023 at 2399 Parkland Drive, apartment 1020, which is the Sorrell Apartments, SORRELLE. This was a vacant apartment. The apartment had been heavily damaged. And while officers were investigating how the apartment was entered and who was in the apartment, the defendant walked past the officers into the vacant apartment. When he was asked what he was doing there, he stated he was getting his laundry out of the washing machine, and at that point he was detained. Security did advise that he was just trespassed and escorted off the property due on a previous shift for being at that property without permission. The bond is currently set by the magistrate court at $20,000. The state is agreeable to reducing that to a $500 surety bond. Stay away from the Sorrell Apartments, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old. He has 2 children, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. He reports that he was recently released from incarceration, and he is employed by Flex Landscaping, where he cuts parts that are provided to MARTA. He states that this has been one big misunderstanding. He just recently was released. He's trying to get back on his feet. He spoke with a friend who stated or led him to believe that he had permission to be on the property and premises. And so he denies the allegations as alleged. I would request a signature bond for Mr. Freeman. And if Your Honor is not so inclined, I would be agreeable to the $500 surety bond.
I mean, the fact that he walked by the police officers who were standing at basically the entrance to the apartments leads me to believe that he at least felt that he had a right to be there. It seems that's an odd behavior if he didn't. I'm going to give him the option, Mr. Freeman, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out. You can't go back to those Sorrel apartments. It's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Sorrel apartments and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, we ready in courtroom 3 for the interpreter case.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Madam Interpreter, if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from English to French and French to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Ms. Hogue, what position is your client on the calendar?
Oh, let me check. I hadn't looked at that far. I believe that he is
17.
position.
He's 17?
Yes, 17.
Okay, thank you. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Tometry. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. We're conducting this hearing by video. You agree to have your case heard by video?
Bonjour, Monsieur Atamoti. Je suis juge Eric Moreau. Est-ce que vous êtes d'accord de continuer cette point en utilisant la vidéo?
Oui.
Yes.
Oui.
You have been charged with one misdemeanor offense.
Vous avez été accusé d'une offense mineure.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, number 17. This is fifth arrest. He got an open simple battery family violence, 21 CR 001 415Y. Disorderly conduct, obstruction, simple battery against police, stalking family violence, 22 CR 001 337Y. Want me to keep going?
Let Madam Interpreter.
Okay. Ça, c'est votre donc arrêt, c'est le 5e arrêt. Vous avez été arrêté pour violence domestique. Le cas, c'était le 23 CR 00 21 25 38. Et vous avez été aussi, il y a un arrêté pour vous avez fait créer un désordre. Ça, c'était un autre cas. Et vous avez été encore arrêté pour une violence familiale. Et ça, c'était le cas C23 CR 00 21 25 36 et demandait s'il voulait continuer. Apparemment, vous avez été...
Anything further, Mr. Howard?
2023 failure to appear, 2022 DUI, and 2022 battery, cruise in the 3rd out of Clayton County.
Et vous avez aussi vous n'avez pas apparu au tribunal. C'était en 2000. Et puis, vous avez eu un DUI aussi.
Presenting for the state.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can you let me know again which case this is?
Yes, position number 17, Mr. Tometry.
That is going to be, I believe that is Mr. Young's case.
Okay, thank you. You can proceed, Mr. Young.
Okay, this is the public indecency case. On 4/23, on 4/23/2023, the accused was seen urinating on the southbound trackway at the platform at the MARTA station.
Donc, ce cas-ci, c'est pour une décence publique. C'était le 23 avril 2023. Vous étiez sur le Marta dans le train, direction allant vers le sud, et on vous a vu en train de pisser sur le plateforme.
The act was witnessed by multiple MARTA police officers, including the affiant. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond and stay away from Marta.
Donc, là, ça a été, il y avait des témoins, il y a beaucoup de policiers de Martha qui étaient témoins de cet acte et aussi une autre personne. Et maintenant, ils demandent que vous payiez un bon de 1 500. Et aussi, I'm sorry, I forgot to. Et que vous ne restez, vous restez loin de Martha.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Tomey is 46 years old, Your Honor. He has been in this country since 2014. He came here from the Ivory Coast, where he lived and grew up, and was there and actually attended college there and got a degree in law.
Monsieur Tomey a 46 ans, est arrivé aux États-Unis en 2014 en venant de la Côte d'Ivoire où il est né et il a grandi. Et en fait, il a aussi été, il a été à l'école et il a pris un diplôme de droit.
Since he has been in the United States, he has been gainfully employed, most recently at ABM Delta as a subcontractor, and plans to start a new job, switching careers now for about 3 or 4 weeks. So he's had a dip in income to bread making in Gwinnett.
Et depuis qu'il est arrivé aux États-Unis, il a travaillé légalement. Et avant, il travaillait pour ABM Delta. Et maintenant, il est en train de changer de carrière pour avoir un peu plus de revenus. Et ça fait à peu près 3 à 4 semaines qu'il travaille dans une compagnie qui fait du pain, qui produit du pain.
He also has family ties here, including a former wife and a younger brother who is in the military.
Et il a aussi des liens familiaux, une femme avec qui il n'est plus, une épouse qu'il n'est plus avec, et aussi un petit frère qui est dans l'armée.
He has been in Georgia since 2015.
Il a été en Georgie depuis 2015.
So he does have ties and consistent employment here, so he is not a flight risk.
Donc, il a des liens dans cet État et donc il n'a pas besoin de fuir.
I understand he has some prior cases. However, this particular case is not anywhere related to those cases. This is simply an action that happened at a MARTA.
Je comprends qu'il a d'autres cas d'avant, il y a d'autres cas avant ceci, mais celui qu'on discute aujourd'hui n'a rien à voir avec tout ce qui s'est passé dans le passé.
There's no indication of any history of any issues at MARTA prior to this incident.
Et avant cet incident, il n'y a pas eu d'autres cas dans le MARTA.
There's no indication that he obstructed the police or gave any problem or any type of violence when they were arresting him.
Et il n'y a pas d'indication qu'il a essayé d'être violent envers la police ou de résister l'arrêt quand les policiers ont voulu l'arrêter.
So we are asking for a $1,500 good bond given those facts, as we believe it is warranted, but in the alternative, a $1,500 regular bond.
Donc, on demande qu'il soit libéré en payant un montant de 1 500, mais que ce soit un bon qui n'est pas retenu.
Okay, it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail, abide by any active MARTA suspensions, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Vous allez pouvoir payer, le juge dit que vous pouvez signer un bon de $5,000 et que vous ne pouvez pas vous approcher de MARTA, et aussi vous ne pouvez pas consommer de drogue ou d'alcool.
Good luck to you, sir.
Bonne chance à vous, monsieur.
Position number 8.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate your assistance this afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And this is Mr. Green.
That is correct.
Good afternoon, Mr. Green. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Green, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002529C with public drunk, obtaining unlawful entry into MARTA, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
52. Last arrest was in February for shoplifting, trespass, Clayton County. Got an open case for trespass, 2 counts in Fulton, 21 CR 000234C. On probation, burglary with intent to commit a felony. It's 15 SC 135004. In 2015, they gave him 20 years, 2 years to serve, 18 years probation for that. 2023 shoplifting conviction. 2022, 2021 probation. 2020 battery and a 2020 robbery conviction. 2018 failure to appear. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened April 24th at the H.E. Holmes murder station at 70 Hamilton E. Holmes Drive. The defendant was being disorderly in the parking lot, and so when the officer approached, he saw the defendant yelling at Officer Battle and Specialist Johnson in the street and cursing at them. This defendant had been previously escorted off the property that day because he had failed to he had actually been just previously escorted off the property that day, excuse me. And when the officer pulled up, the defendant was in a fighting stance with Officer Battle and Specialist Johnson. He was taken into custody, and when Specialist Johnson advised of the incident, he stated that earlier the defendant had evaded fare and was instructed to leave the station, which is then what caused the incident that the other officer observed as he was pulling up, with the defendant taking a fighting stance and cursing at the specialist and the officer. The state's recommendation on this, due to the extensive history of this defendant, is a $2,000 split bond. We're asking for a $500 surety on each count of the disorderly conduct, and then a $500 signature on the public drunk and the fare evasion. So that would be a total of a $2,000 split bond. Stay away from MARTA. He currently has 2 MARTA suspensions that are going into effect May 1st and May 3rd of 2023. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And given the circumstances and given the extent of the history, the state would ask for a BHET. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. My client is 38 years old. He doesn't have any children. We do not have any objection to him not returning back to the MARTA station. In speaking with Mr. Green, he did state that he would like to have help with his alcohol addiction. But he does deny acting aggressively toward anyone on that day. I would be requesting a signature bond for him. And if Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for a $750 bond. Mr. Green states he works for a Mr. Lee, who's the elderly person who he knows personally, who he assists. He recently applied to a bakery to be a dishwasher, but needs additional documentation before he can obtain that employment. So he does not have a lot of money.
Okay. It will be a split bond for the public drunk and the obtaining unlawful entry. They'll both be $500 signature bonds through the jail. For the 2 disorderly conducts, $500 each charge, good bonds. So that makes it a total of $1,000 good bond. Stay away from MARTA. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Green.
Your Honor, position number 10, Mr. Jackson.
Sorry, tell me again who we have.
Listen number 10.
10, okay, thank you.
Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002532E with simple battery, family violence, and battery, family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Open case in Fulton, felony obstruction, 21 CP 198510. Open case in Clayton County for battery, criminal trespass. Got a 2022 impersonating an officer that was dismissed. 2021 obstruction. 2020 battery, 2 counts conviction. Trespass no law. That's it.
Yes, Mr. Young.
Yes, Judge. In this case, the victims are Kira Shaw and her daughter, a 13-year-old daughter. This incident occurred at 2367 Cascade Avenue, apartment C12 here in Atlanta. On 2/21/2023, law enforcement were dispatched to this incident location in reference to a fight in progress reported. They spoke with Kira Shaw, who had stated that her boyfriend assaulted her and her daughter. She stated that the accused punched her in the face twice and struck her several times with a broom. Ms. Shaw stated that the accused punched her daughter in the face and pushed her to the ground. Ms. Shaw had lacerations to her lips and scratches to her forearm. I also want to bring it to the court's attention that the case that we're here for today happened on 2/21/23. But upon speaking with the victim and looking in Odyssey, the accused was actually arrested yesterday for a separate battery against the same victim. So he had the active warrant for the case that we're here on today when officers responded yesterday to the I believe a separate incident location. We did speak with the victim. She said that this is not the first time. They have had issues in the past. So the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victims, 1-day anger awareness, stay away from 2367 Cascade Avenue, apartment C12, and no alcohol, drugs, weapon while on bond.
Is that broken down, Mr. Young?
It's broken down 2,000 sureties per charge.
Okay.
And Ms. Shaw is present also.
Okay. Ms. Shaw, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to activate your camera. If you choose to address the court, and I'll have to swear you in.
Okay. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. What do I do? I press, let me see. Okay, I see it now.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
I'm
so nervous.
Do you swear? You're fine, Ms. Shaw. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
I would like to tell you that I've been in a relationship with Delshawn Jackson for about a year now. And I understood when we were together that we both had different issues with each other. And sometimes it did get physical and everything. I wanted him to know that I originally, because I do not want to be in a relationship with him no longer. And it's okay for him to get his belongings from the house. I love you with all my heart, but I can't be with you because we're not good together. And but I wish him the best. He's doing good in life. He's doing good for himself. And I don't want him to be charged with any crime or anything. I just think that we needed to be separated. And that's all I have to say.
Well,
Thank you, Judge. My client is 27 years old. He is employed by Mizzou as security. He states that he had an argument with Ms. Shaw in the past where he left. He denies all allegations that he was ever physical or violent with Ms. Shaw. And also states that Ms. Shaw suffers from mental health conditions that contribute or exacerbate and cause situations to escalate. I would request a one-time law enforcement escort. However, Mr. Jackson tells me that the apartment or the property where they reside, his name is listed on the property and that he pays for that property. I understand that that's a separate matter, a separate issue. I would ask for a signature bond in this case. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for $1,000 surety bond.
yes, ma'am.
That is true. His name is on the lease, and I have no problem. Originally, I said I didn't want him to come back because I was going to be staying there, but I'm going to leave the house so he can, if he's going to pay the rent, he can keep the house. He can keep the apartment because it's in both of our names.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 good bond per charge, which makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Shaw. Stay away from the end. Well, he can have a one-time escort back to the incident location. If Ms. Shaw is still residing there, he must gather his belongings and find someplace else to go. If Ms. Shaw is not residing there, then he can reside there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, good luck to you. Let me just make this clear, just so that you both know. No contact means absolutely no contact. No phone contact, no personal contact, no internet contact, no Twitter, no Facebook, no contact whatsoever. Okay, so just know that if there is contact, you'll be in violation of this bond order and you'll be right back where you are, Mr. Jackson. All right, good luck to you both.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
God bless you. Bless you.
Hey, Your Honor. I didn't quite hear it. You said a $2,000 bond? I'm not sure.
Ms. Wills can explain it to you after court today. It's a $4,000 surety bond, sir.
All right. Bye-bye, Kira. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Okay, right here, see, this is what I'm talking about. That's in violation of an order that I just imposed, okay? So, you know, just so you know.
Your Honor, position number 11, Mr. McCollum.
Good afternoon, Mr. McCollum. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. McCollum. Mr. McCollum, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002533E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2009 trespass, shoplifting dismissed. That's it.
Yes, Mr. Young.
Okay, Judge. This incident happened at 3281 Washington Road in East Point. It happened on April 23rd, 2023. The victim in this case is Troy Millen. Would ask the court to sound for her when appropriate. Law enforcement responded to the incident in reference to a fight. When they arrived, they observed the two sitting on the porch together. Miss Millen told officers that there was a verbal altercation about her car being left somewhere unattended due to a flat tire. The accused became upset and began striking her multiple times in the face with a closed fist. Mr. McCollum advised officers that he did hit her after he told her about the car. Law enforcement observed swelling to her eye, cut to her upper lip, and an open wound to the right side of her face. She had a large amount of blood on her shirt and towel that she was holding. Furthermore, Your Honor, we did have a chance to review jail calls, and there were 3 jail calls between the accused and the victim. We did learn in the first jail call that the victim her eyes are now swollen shut, and her nose is broken. In jail call 2, she tells him to ask for a signature bond.
Objection, Your Honor. These jail calls have not been turned over to us. This is all hearsay information at this time. And I don't see her on the phone call here, so I would object to all this being entered at all.
Over objection, Mr. Young, go ahead and tell me what you were telling me.
Your Honor, also learned in the jail call 2 that the victim wanted the accused to ask for a signature bond in order to get out. When they was talking about the incident, the accused said that, well, I did not keep beating you. She said, yes, you did. You beat me for a minute. You beat me from one side of the couch to the next. And you also beat me, you punched her into the TV, breaking it. In the third jail call, the defendant blamed his actions on her slapping him about the car and that he was drunk. She tells him that he could have just hit her once instead of doing all of what he did, which is in particular concerning to the state because it sounds like him hitting her one time would have been okay. We have not had any contact with the victim. So the state's recommendation is a $7,500 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with the victim, stay away from 3281 Washington Road in East Point.
Yes, Ms. Hogue.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. McCollum is 31 years old, Your Honor. He has lived in Georgia now for the last 16 years. He and his mother moved here. He has his mother here as well as other contacts. So he has ties here in Georgia, Your Honor. So he is not a flight risk. He is currently working as a cargo agent. And he's been doing that for 2.5 years. He has his GED as well as a medical certificate in phlebotomy, of interesting things, from Brunswick, Your Honor. And based on his history, there is no violence in his history. He has a 2009, so we're going back 14 years, shoplifting. Okay, and that is it. Like I said, I objected to the jail call information because we're hearing she wants him to have a signature bond. She wants this. We're hearing all this stuff about a call for a person who's not even here to even substantiate any of it. What we are asking for, Your Honor, at this time is a signature bond. We do believe it is warranted given his lack of history. As far as the no contact and everything else, that is not an issue for him. He does not intend, I believe he'll need a one-time to possibly get any belongings, but other than that, the no contact is fine, and the stay away is also fine from that location. Like I said, I disapprove of talking about jail calls we don't get to hear. So, and I do believe his history does not warrant anything other than a signature bond at this time.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pre-trial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the Washington Road address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McCollum.
Yeah, I'm position number 12, Mr. Page.
Good afternoon, Mr. Page. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Page, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002534J with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. On probation in Douglas County, theft by taking. That should end in August. He got some CWAC stuff in his history that he was convicted of 2012, 2013. That's it.
Mr. Young?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred April 21, 2023 at 2831 Pine Needle Drive in East Point. The victim in this case, Angela Davis, we would ask the court to sound for her when appropriate. On said day at said incident location, law enforcement responded in reference to a domestic dispute. The accused was observed on a video screaming in the victim's face with his fist balled up, raising his fist back as he was going to strike her, which caused her to flinch. They shared 2 children together. Ms. Davis also attempted to get away from the accused, so he grabbed her, twisting her arm, skin back and forth. The accused also damaged a television at this location that he punched. The sister, the other resident at this location, recorded some of the incident. The state's recommendation is a $3,500 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, family violence, and $500 for the criminal trespass. No further contact with the victim, and to stay away from 2830 Pine Needle Drive in East Point.
Is there going to be a sounding for the victim? Someone said something about that.
Davis is on the line. Now is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to do so.
And if I may also, we did have contact with the victim. She said that she does not want any contact and she does not feel safe with the accused around her or their children.
Okay. It doesn't appear that that Ms. Davis is with us this afternoon, Ms. Hogue.
Okay, I wasn't sure. They just said sounding, so I thought that they thought she was going to be on. Okay, Your Honor, Mr. Page is 28 years old. He's been here in Georgia for the last 20 years. He graduated from Pebblebrook High School in Mapleton, Your Honor. And while he does not have college, he's worked consistently since he graduated from high school. He currently works for a temp service that he's been working for the last 2 years. He does have 2 children with the alleged victim in this case, Your Honor, that he does help to support. As far as this goes, as far as his history goes, as you can see, Your Honor, his last arrest was in 2015 for a theft by taking. While he does have some CWAC, there is no indication necessarily of any violence at this time. At least there's none that I'm aware of. I do believe that given he understands about the no contact, they don't live together anyways, Your Honor. So that's not a problem. We would ask for third-party transfer for visitation to the children, if possible. Though we do believe that given that he has not a very significant history at all, as far as recent, 2015 is 8 years ago, that a signature bond is warranted. Otherwise, in the alternative would be a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge.
Does he need to go back to the Pine Needle Drive address to retrieve any belongings?
No, Your Honor, they don't live together. So that's not an issue.
All right, for the simple battery, it's a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, which makes it a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Angela Davis. Stay away from the Pine Needle Drive address. Third party transfer for visitation of any minor children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Page.
Your Honor, position number 13.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rathorn. I'm Judge Eric Rathor. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm told by pretrial, Mr. Rathrum, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002535H with simple battery, family violence, and battery family violence. I was told by pretrial that this is Mr. Rathor's first arrest. Mr. Young.
Yes, Your Honor. The incident occurred at 1421 Hanover Place in Alpharetta. Law enforcement were dispatched to this incident location in reference to a domestic dispute that made contact with the victim, the accused wife, Sarika Rathor. Upon speaking with the victim, she stated that her husband pushed her down, grabbed her by the arm during an argument, and he dug his nails into her skin, which caused visible marks on her arm in the shape of fingers. The state's recommendation is a $6,000 split bond. That would be $3,000 surety for the simple battery family violence and a $3,000 signature for the battery family violence that was added in the alternative. Note for the contact with the victim and to stay away from 1421 Hanover Place, one-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapon while on bond.
Has your office spoken with Ms. Rathor?
Yes, Your Honor, we have spoken to her. She wants no nonviolent contact. She says that this has been going on for several years, but this is the first time calling the police. Her arms are very sore and she had trouble sleeping last night. I'm unsure if she's on the Zoom call, but if so, you sound for her when appropriate.
She is on the Zoom call, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rathor, if this is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to. If you do, you'll need to unmute yourself and I'll have to swear you in, ma'am. I can't understand what you're saying. If you're trying to address me, Ms. Rathor, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
So what happened was that yesterday we were in the garden and we were just having normal discussion, and it became an argument, and then we came into the house, and again like it became argument and it escalated, and he hurt me, like grabbed me on the arms, and I like, because if you'll press push your fingers inside the arm, there is like little bit of my arms are sore. So I didn't know how to deal with the situation. I got a little bit scared, so I called 911. But it was never intended to arrest my husband. I just thought that somebody would come and just to de-escalate the matter and tell my husband not to do this again. But they told me that they are going to arrest him, and I didn't want him to get arrested. But they told me that it's a protocol, and they have to. In the past, there were like uh, instances where he was little bit rough on me, but I would not say that I was physically hurt or something. I was, yeah, during our arguments, I'm little bit scared because he just broke few things, but I'm never injured me in the past. So I just don't, I don't intend to hurt him in any way, like through this court proceedings, and I'm not that kind of a person. And it's just not that, like, there have been instances when he was very nice to me also. He is nice to me also, and I am also nice to him. He got COVID last month, so he was hospitalized for a day because he has diabetes. So when he was discharged after a day, I took care of it. We live in the same household. It's just like 2 units, but both are ours. Sometimes he sleeps here, sometimes there, like if there is any argument or something like that. But I don't want to hurt him in any way. Like, I never knew that if I made a 911 call, so he would get arrested or something. I was just little bit scared that time. So I called.
So what you're telling me, Ms. Rathor, is that this is not the first time that this has occurred. Is that correct?
Actually, like he might have pushed me, but not like I was like, hurt physically, I mean, this time it happened, but not previously. He might, there was like some emotional thing that, whenever, whatever happens, whenever there is an argument, but like, I mean, this is a time where I became a little scared, thought that maybe some I mean officer would come and intervene and just try to resolve the things at my home, but they instead took him to jail that I never intended to. I love him. It's not that I really love him. He loves me also. He becomes a little bit rough at times. It's just like his personality, and but I think that it's just a part and parcel of a relationship. So I mean, I don't want any bond against him. The only thing that I want is not to be violent again towards me again. This is the only thing I want.
Just so you know, Ms. Rathor, it is not part and parcel of a relationship. Okay.
Yes, sir. I have maybe I don't know, like, when you, I mean, what I think is that when you live with a person, they're like, nobody is perfect. Even I am not perfect. He's not perfect. So what I think is that we have to adjust with each other's flaws. This is what a relationship to me. So
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hogue?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rathor is 47 years old, Your Honor. He's been in the United States for 35 years. He is from Northern India.
I'm 44 years old.
Okay, Ms. Rathor, let Ms. Hogue speak. Don't interrupt them. I think she was talking about your husband. Okay.
I'm sorry about I'm sorry for the interruption, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rathor. Ms. Hogue, you can continue.
Yes. He originally came and was living in North Carolina. He moved to Georgia 10 years ago. He graduated high school, Smithfield, as well as college, North Carolina State. He has a degree in biology as well as computer science. He's been working in computer science pretty much most of his post-college career. He currently is working as a software developer, that he's been working there for a number of years. They have been married for 7 years and knew each other 1 year before that, so they have been together for 8 years themselves. As you can see, Your Honor, he is not a flight risk. This is the first incident that he has at all. This is his very first arrest at 47 years of age and spending 35 years in this country. I do believe a signature bond is warranted. I understand that they do live in some kind of a duplex situation and that he can live in one part or a separate apartment than she can. I do believe, my understanding is she does want that contact, Your Honor, so we would just ask for no further violent contact at this time. And like I said, I do believe a signature bond is justified.
Because of his history, Ms. Hogue, I am going to give him a signature bond. It's going to be a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial per the judge on each count, which makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1 day anger awareness, because if I am concerned with what I've heard regarding what's going on in that household. As such, there's not going to be at this point in time any further contact. So no further contact is going to be ordered, and a stay away from the Hanover place. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. Let me just tell you both what no further contact at this point in time means. It means no contact whatsoever. No phone contact, no personal contact, no email contact, no social media contact. Until this is resolved or this bond is modified, there is to be no contact. Also, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
So can add something if with your permission?
I've already made my order, ma'am, but yes, go ahead.
So I intend to live with my husband. Like, please, please don't impose this no contact situation on him and me. And maybe, you know, in the heat of the moment when it was happening, so, you know, it just happened like that. But don't do, please change your decision regarding this, sir. It is my
Because of what you, Miss Rathler, because of what you told me, I'm concerned for you. Okay, the things that you have told me during your presentation, they're very concerning. The way that you feel about it is very concerning for me. That's not in my opinion what should be going on in a relationship. There should be no type of violence that you have described to this court has been occurring. Okay, so for your own protection, even though you don't want to be protected, I am going to protect you. Good luck to you, ma'am. Okay, who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position 14, Mr. Mark Sargent.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sargent. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Sargent, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002536G with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, simple battery, and battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest, 2017 obstruction, that was dismissed. Before that was a 1996 battery. That's it.
Young?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on April 24th, 2023 at the Hilton located at 255 Cortlandt Street in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Irma Hernandez. On this day, law enforcement responded to the incident location in reference to an assault report. Hotel security advised officers that the accused had assaulted the victim. Law enforcement spoke to the victim, who had a language barrier. Through translation, she advised officers that the accused was upset about her entering his hotel room. He became upset, closed the door. Later on, he stepped out the room and then hit her in the chest. Law enforcement were able to observe some redness around her neck and chest area. The state's recommendation is a split bond, $6,500. It's a $3,000 surety bond for the simple battery, $3,000 signature bond for the battery, and $500 surety for the marijuana. No further contact with Ms. Hernandez. Stay away from the Hilton at 255 Cortlandt Street. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. And we have not had any contact with the victim.
If Ms. Hernandez is on the line, this is your opportunity to address the court. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Hogue?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sargent is 56 years old, Your Honor. As you can see, this is just his third arrest. So he's had a very clean history. In the third one, the previous one was from 2017. It was an obstruction and it was a dismissal. There is no violence that we can see in his, in fact, history. Also, Your Honor, to note, in 1998, he suffered a very bad bus and car accident, which put him into disability. He has a deterioration of his disc that makes it very difficult for him to walk. He is also still, no matter what, in constant rehab. He has very limited financial resources, Your Honor. He does have family here. He does have a sister. He's lived in Georgia since 1995, so he also has ties here as well. And this is where he gets his rehabilitation and everything else. All of his medical is tied here, Your Honor. He has no children, but he, like I said, he does have a sister. Given his physicality, I'm going to question, he denies these allegations soundly, and I'm going to question them given his age and his disability, Your Honor. Also, there is a redundancy in charges here. It's either a battery or a simple battery. It's not both. According to the police report, it was a single alleged slap. So either it's one or the other, but not both. Given his lack of history, the questionable circumstances behind this, we are asking for signature bonds on all charges, Your Honor. As far as the stay away and the no contact, that is not an issue. This is not a person he knows, and this is not a place that he would necessarily frequent all the time.
A $500 signature bond for the simple battery, a $500 signature bond for the battery, a $1,000 signature bond. That's a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Hilton on Cortlandt Street. No further contact with Ms. Hernandez, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Sergeant.
Judge, you were breaking up. Will you repeat those bonds again? You were breaking
Yes.
up.
Okay, 500 for both the possession and the simple battery, and 1,000 for the battery, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Mr. Sergeant.
Josh. Next, position number 15.
And this is Mr. Sean. Good afternoon, Mr. Sean. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes,
is that a yes? Okay. Thank you, sir. You've been charged in case 23 CR 002519Y with criminal trespass, pedestrian and roadway, and disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
48 total. I got an open obstruction on probation for trespass, DV, and obstruction. It's 22 CR 005 967F. Back in September, they gave him 12 months probation for that. Also on probation, terrorist threats and obstruction, 3 counts. It's 21 SC 177911. What else we got? 2023 probation, 2022, 2021 probation. He's a habitual trespasser, basically. He got a lot of those. Shoplifting. That's it.
Mr. Young.
Yes, Your Honor, on April 22nd, 2023 at 634 West Whitehall Street, Southwestern Atlanta. That's the Exxon gas station. The accused was present at this location, banging on the door and harassing customers. Law enforcement located the subject outside to try to get his name and date of birth. While doing so, he walked into the roadway. Officer told the individual to come back. The individual looked at him, stayed in the roadway. When he attempted to handcuff the accused, he snatched his hand away multiple times. The state's recommendation in this case is a $2,000 signature bond, stay away from 634 West Whitehall at the Exxon gas station. No, nothing further from the state.
What's the breakdown, Mr. Young?
It is $1,000 on the criminal trespass, 1,000 on disorderly, 500 on disorderly conduct and 500 on the pedestrian roadway, 1,000 on criminal trespass.
And you did just say signature bond.
That's correct.
Okay. We'll put it through the jail. You have any objection to that, Ms. Hogue?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Would you mind having a social worker visit so that we can see if we can get Mr. Sean some services?
Yes, we will, Your Honor. I'll ask to have her go out today.
Okay, I appreciate that. So it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Exxon and Whitehall Street. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit to assist Mr. Sean with some housing, possibly, if necessary. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Sean.
Your Honor, what was his bond amount? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's $2,000 signature bond through the jail. $1,000 for the criminal trespass, $1,000 for the disorderly, and a $500 for the pedestrian roadway.
That's 2,000, 1,005, so it's 2,000.
That's 2,500 then, Judge.
That's, yeah, you kind of threw me off. I got nervous.
2,500 is the same as 2,500, isn't it?
No, but you had said 2,000.
2,000. You said 2,000, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long day. It's okay. So, which one is it? Is it 25 or is it 2,000?
It's
Okay,
2,000. I confused everybody. I misspoke.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Stop confusing the judge, please.
I'm sorry. I'm not getting enough
That's
sleep
okay.
tonight. I got a newborn in the house, so I'm
Okay. All right.
So it's 2,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Ms. Bridgewater, can you tell me the breakdown, please?
Sure. I have 1,000 on the criminal trespass and 500 on the pedestrian and the disorderly conduct, making it a total of a $2,000 SOB through the jail.
Very good. Thank you.
Sounds good. Next, we have position number 16, Mr. Christopher Thomas.
Oh, he on the inside. He on the inside.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you've been charged in case 23 CR 002537G with certain acts on a bus, rail, or station that are prohibited. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
29 total on probation in Muskogee County, aggravated assault. On probation in Fulton, battery and obstruction, 22 CR 005761G. Back in September, they gave him 12 months probation for that. 2022, he was arrested a couple of times for probation. 2021, same thing. 2015, same thing. Got a 2015 ag assault. 2014, simple battery DV conviction. 2012, simple battery, given false name conviction. That's it.
Mr. Young?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at 2424 Piedmont Road in Atlanta, at the Lambert MARTA station. On April 24th, the accused allegedly entered through emergency doors of one of the trains at the Lambert MARTA station and urinated. The state's recommendation on this case is a $2,500 surety bond, and stay away from MARTA or follow all MARTA suspensions.
So,
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Thomas is 47 years old, and you see he does have some history here. He does have some family in Albany, Your Honor, but he is residentially challenged, as well as I do believe there's some MH issues here as well. What we would ask, Your Honor, is just to make it a $1,000 surety bond at this point. He does not have the financial wherewithal to make almost any bond, but we do believe there's some MH issues here that we will want our social worker to come out and speak with him on.
okay, so it's going to be a $1,000 good bond. Abide by any active MARTA suspensions, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit. If he doesn't get out, he'll be on the SAP calendar on May 9th. And if we can have a report from the social worker at that time, that would be helpful.
Will do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes. No. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. If you need to speak with Ms. Hogue, someone's going to be coming down to speak with you, sir. Okay, so I'm sure that Ms. Hogue would advise you to remain silent at the present time. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Next, we have position number 18, Mr. Reginaldo Vassell.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Vassal. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 002539A with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's his second arrest. Last arrest was back in '89.
Yes, Mr. Young.
Your Honor, on April 23rd, 2023, at 3450 International Boulevard, that is the Embassy Suites in Hapeville, law enforcement responded to this incident location in reference to a female being assaulted. It was reported that the victim was seeking shelter with employees in the front lobby. Upon arriving and speaking with the victim, Ms. Gwendolyn Vassell, she's the accused wife. She stated that she dropped the Uber and she was there dropping someone off at the hotel. Her husband pulled up, saw another male, became upset. And during the argument, he slapped her, which caused her to fall to the ground. Law enforcement spoke with the accused, who stated that he tracked his wife there via phone. They lived together in McDonough, but on this day, he waited outside for her and he saw her there with another male, became upset, went inside the hotel, and that is when the argument and assault occurred. The law enforcement did observe the victim with abrasions to the face and her eye was red.
Yeah, like we all kind of, I mean, I'm like, what are we?
Ms. Vassell, I see you there. Okay, you're muted right now. There was some interference. Go ahead, Mr. Young.
They live together at 2377 Braylon Loop in McDonough, Georgia. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim. Ms. Vassell, 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And state would ask for you to call for Ms. Vassell when appropriate.
Ms. Vassell, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll have to swear you in. So if we can unmute her. Okay. Can you raise your right hand for me, ma'am?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
It was a misunderstanding, actually. And actually, he was outside when I was exiting the hotel and he did not see me with a male. It just, was just a misunderstanding, just verbal. Yes, slap happened, but my husband has never been violent towards me. He's actually a good husband and a good father. We've been living in the state for 6 years. We purchased a home in McDonough 6 years ago. And he's good to his kids. He's not violent. It's just something that happened for the first time. And he did not see me with a male. So I don't really know who put that in a statement because I know I didn't. So I just want to address that to you. But he's not a violent person. And I would, I have no problem being around him.
You're not afraid of him?
No, not at all.
And do you want him to come back into the household?
Yes, because he's definitely a good asset towards me and my sons. He helps out a lot, transporting them to work back and forth. And yes, I do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hogue?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Vassell is 56 years old, Your Honor. He is retired here, as she was sitting there saying. They have been married for 23 years, Your Honor. They have children together, as well as I believe he has children outside their relationship as well prior to meeting her. He has 7 in total. There are, some live at home, as she is noting, Your Honor. He is retired, so they are on limited incomes there because he is on his Social Security and his pension. They are coming down from New York, where he was a bus operator, as well as worked at Bellevue Hospital in the transport area. As you can see, this is his first arrest in 34 years, Your Honor. So he had an arrest 34 years ago when he was 22, and that is it. As she's already said, this is an isolated incident. He is a high school graduate, Your Honor. I do believe a signature bond is warranted here and just a no further violent contact.
Okay, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Vassell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to both of you.
Your Honor, can you repeat that condition?
Yes.
The bond amount, please.
It's a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge.
Thank you. And what's the conditions? I don't think he heard them.
1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And that should be it for the calendar.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Let's see, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you are ready, we can go over it.
I'm ready, Judge.
Okay.
Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be May the 9th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a $750 good bond. Position 3, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 6, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 7 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 split bond. Position 9 SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 10 SAP calendar with a total $4,000 good bond. Position 11 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 12 reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13 reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 14, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 15 is being reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 16 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 17, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. And position 18 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise? No? Okay, so be it. That's it. Judge, you're chopping up.
I said, thank you all very much. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that